Donald Trump vowed to slap a 200% tariff on John Deere products not made in the U.S., a move that effectively meant steep taxes on imports and potentially skyrocketing prices. John Deere wasn't having it, and pushed back, igniting Trump's fury. What started as a disagreement quickly turned into a full-blown showdown. This wasn't just about heated words, it became a clash of power and influence. But what could John Deere have done to provoke such a strong reaction from one of the world's most influential figures? How far would Trump go to assert his authority? And most importantly, how would this feud impact everyday Americans? An unexpected trigger in the predictable world of agriculture and heavy machinery surprises are rare. Companies like John Deere, with a history stretching over a century, usually operate with methodical precision, but every now and then something happens that shakes even the most seasoned experts. This time it all started with what seemed like an ordinary corporate announcement to shareholders and analysts. It looked a focus on growth strategies and financial updates, yet hidden within it was a statement potent enough to stir controversy and divide political opinions. John Deere, often seen as a symbol of rural America, made a statement that some interpreted as a challenge to policies linked to Trump's administration. This wasn't an isolated move, it reflected the company's response to shifting global trade dynamics, growing demand for sustainable farming, and tougher international competition. But in the charged world of politics, subtle messages often morph into bold headlines. At first glance, the announcement seemed to signal a shift in strategy, embracing newer technologies and stricter environmental standards. However, to Trump supporters and some analysts, it came across as a critique of the economic policies that defined his presidency. For Trump, this wasn't just a business decision. It felt personal, even like a betrayal coming from a brand so tied to American innovation and grit. Trump's explosive reaction. Trump wasted no time responding, and his reaction was as fiery as ever. At a rally with the energy of his campaign events, he slammed John Deere before an enthusiastic crowd with patriotic intensity. He framed the company's actions as a betrayal of American farmers and workers, the very people who helped build its legacy. But Trump didn't stop there. On Truth Social, he launched a series of posts condemning the company, each one intensifying the drama. Soon, hashtags like #Deere Loyal were trending, igniting fierce debates online. For Trump's loyal supporters, this wasn't just a business spat, it was another battle in the ongoing fight to defend America's core values. Critics, however, questioned whether his outrage was truly about policy or just political theater. A divided political arena, the controversy quickly turned into a political chess match. Trump's allies backed his claims, framing John Deere's decision as a betrayal of American workers. Meanwhile, his opponent highlighted the company's ability to adapt to market demands, portraying its actions as a smart response to global challenges in America's farming heartland, where John Deere equipment is part of everyday life. The stakes were especially high. Farmers, already navigating market pressures and evolving practices, found themselves torn between their dependence on Deere and their loyalty to Trump. For many, this wasn't just political theater, it was a deeply personal dilemma, with serious consequences for their livelihoods. Media and public frenzy. As the feud escalated, media coverage exploded. News outlets from all sides picked apart the story. Conservative commentators echoed Trump's criticism, questioning Deere's loyalty to the nation, while liberal voices applauded the company for prioritizing sustainability. Business analysts weighed in, debating whether Deere's move was part of a larger corporate shift toward environmental responsibility and global competitiveness. Social media predictably became a war zone. Heated debates are looking ahead as the dust began to settle. The resolution of this high-profile standoff remained unclear. Would it change corporate strategies, reshape political alliances, or set the stage for more clashes between politics and business? What was certain was that the stakes extended far beyond Trump and Deere, impacting farmers, workers, and consumers alike. The ripple effects of this battle would likely be felt for years. Donald Trump announced plans for a 200% tariff on John Deere products not manufactured in the U.S., a tariff essentially being a tax on imports that often leads to higher consumer costs. In response, John Deere pushed back, escalating tensions into a dramatic confrontation. Trump's reaction was swift and furious, and what began as a verbal exchange quickly evolved into a power struggle. What could John Deere have done to provoke such a reaction from one of the world's most influential figures? How far would Trump go to reassert His authority, and most importantly, how would this conflict affect everyday Americans? The spark in the typically steady world of agriculture and industry surprises are rare. Companies like John Deere, with over a century of history, are known for their consistent and methodical approach. But every now and then something unexpected shakes even the most seasoned observers. It all started with what seemed like an ordinary corporate announcement, an update shareholders and analysts typically review for. Financial performance or growth strategies hidden within, however, was a statement that sent political shockwaves across the country. John Deere, a long-standing symbol of rural America, issued a message that some interpreted as a challenge to Trump administration policies. This wasn't a hasty decision. It was a calculated response to mounting global trade pressures, increasing demand for sustainable farming practices, and intensifying international competition. Yet in the politically charged atmosphere, subtlety was drowned out by bold narratives. At first glance, the announcement appeared to signal a strategic shift, one embracing cutting-edge technologies and stricter environmental standards. But to Trump supporters and certain analysts, it came across as a veiled critique of the economic policies that had defined his presidency. Trump's explosive reaction. For Trump, known for his combative style, this wasn't just a business decision. It felt personal, an insult and a betrayal from a company deeply tied to the fabric of American innovation. During a rally that buzzed with campaign like energy, Trump unleashed fiery rhetoric against John Deere. He painted their actions as a test of loyalty to American ideals, accusing the company of turning its back on the farmers and workers who had built its legacy. Trump took his critique further on Truth Social, his go-to platform, where his posts reached millions in moments. Each post stoked the flames, accusing John Deere of disloyalty and betrayal. Hashtags like #Deere disloyal began trending, igniting widespread debate. For Trump supporters, this was about more than business. It was a battle for America's soul. Meanwhile, critics questioned whether Trump's outrage stemmed from genuine concerns or was just another act of political theater fueled by personal grievances. The political chess board, the confrontation quickly became a strategic battleground for politicians. Trump's allies stood firmly behind him, denouncing what they saw as corporate betrayal. Meanwhile, his opponents framed John Deere as a progressive company adapting to modern global challenges. Democrats seized the moment to advocate for stricter environmental standards and greater corporate accountability. Though some feared they might alienate their working-class supporters, Republicans found themselves in a tough spot, balancing support for Trump's hardline stance with the interests of pro-business groups cautious about antagonizing a major U.S. manufacturer. Media frenzy. The media went into overdrive covering the conflict. Conservative outlets echoed Trump's accusations, criticizing John Deere's perceived lack of corporate patriotism. In contrast, liberal commentators applauded the company's sustainability efforts, framing the decision as necessary for addressing modern agricultural challenges. Business analysts comb through John Deere's financial reports and strategic plans, debating whether the company's move was driven by long-term vision or short-term economic pressures. On social media, polarized hashtags, memes, and heated debates took over, further fueling the fire. The human angle. For farmers, the backbone of America's agricultural heartland, the conflict was intensely personal. Older farmers who had relied on John Deere equipment for decades felt torn between their loyalty to the brand and their support for Trump. Younger, sustainability-minded farmers viewed the company's shift as a progressive move essential for adapting to the challenges of modern farming in rural communities. Discussions often became passionate debates about loyalty, progress, and the future of American agriculture. Efforts to de-escalate as tensions reached a boiling point. Efforts to mediate began. John Deere executives reached out to Trump's team, stressing the company's commitment to both innovation and sustainability. Agricultural advocacy groups worked to find common ground, proposing incentives to boost domestic manufacturing and green technologies, aiming to bridge Trump's nationalist economic vision with Deere's forward-thinking strategies. Long-term implications. The dispute highlighted the delicate balance between honoring tradition and embracing innovation. For John Deere, it was a reminder to maintain brand loyalty while preparing for future challenges. For Trump, it underscored the complexities of engaging with influential corporations in a globalized economy on a larger scale. The saga raised important Questions about the role of corporations in shaping societal values, navigating political pressures, and addressing environmental responsibilities, a legacy of lessons. Ultimately, the resolution of the Trump-Deere conflict became a lesson in the power of dialogue and compromise. John Deere reaffirmed its role as a leader in agriculture, blending its historic roots with a forward-thinking vision for the future. Trump's leadership style faced scrutiny, offering valuable insights into the nuances of corporate and political engagement. This high-stakes clash not only sparked debates about corporate loyalty and sustainability, but also set the stage for future intersections of politics, business, and environmental stewardship.